Hello everyone, this is That Blasted American. This isn't a video game. You may note this is in fact a picture of the UC Berkeley protests where the protesters were pepper sprayed. It's more of an exercise in decoding political cartoons, and it's also an interesting look at how something like this image right here, police brutality, maybe he could have stepped over them, I don't know. Maybe one of those other guys could have stopped the guy from spraying him. I don't know how quite their protest works, but something like this, which is an image that people should be rallying around, such brutality toward the protesters, can in fact be turned into something like this. So we've got our, I just thought I'd take a quick look, demonstrate a few of the interesting things about this, some of the little, my case, things that sort of drive me insane. But let's start with a few of the more obvious things. And I want to be using red to mark anything interesting. This is Photoshop. Alright, so let's zoom in. For starters, let's take a look at the all the obvious symbolism. For starters, I'm going to circle a few things that might be worth noting, just so you can see it. Let's look. We've got taxpayers, laws, private property rights, small businesses, health codes. Now, this is an obvious, you could say it's discreditation, but let's look more carefully at this, which is basically what you think immediately the second you see something like this. There we go. No, go on. Oh, I see. Let's look at these people right here. All right, I got my little pen out. For starters, different races. Oh, why is that doing that? We don't want you to do that. This is not super prepared. This is something I'm doing a little bit on the spur of the moment, a little bit out of irritation. You got that guy. We got to look at the ethnicities and the other type of people here. So we've got two women, two men, a black guy, white guy as well. We've got a bunch of different people here. Basically, what you're immediately seeing, even if you don't look at these, is apparently that this guy has a negative effect on everybody. We're not seeing him doing anything to banks. Instead, we're seeing taxpayers, laws, private property, small businesses, health codes. But on a more important scale, the people who are portrayed are white-collar workers. We're not seeing other people like that. We're seeing the white-collar workers. We're seeing, you can see this as in, he has literally drawn the white collar here, which is a good, and this is when you're wearing a, when you're wearing just some sort of coat over a button-up shirt. This is sort of the immediate thing. People will immediately sympathize with any of these groups here. No matter who you are, you might see somebody in here who's you. Also, we can see that this guy's, maybe he's some sort of professor or something, but that right there, we got some glasses. Either way, it's an equally fascinating example of how he's trying to portray who's being negatively affected here. It's not the bankers, no, it's taxpayers, it's laws, private property. But not only is he mentioning these, he's also giving us someone to connect with. We all have older relatives, we all know someone. So no matter who you are, there's someone in that picture you can identify with. And then let's go up. This is sort of the more obvious stuff. They're all covering their faces. It's that other picture we saw. But let's go up and look at this guy. Now we're going to take them apart bit by bit. One. Start with the face. And turn his complaining. That. We've got sort of an ugly, scrappy hair. Hat. Bad hat. Would be an awesome TF2 hat. But this is not TF2. We're seeing that. We're seeing small, piggy eyes. Look at the eyes. The eyes are a good way of displaying emotion. They're sort of thing like that. Now, let's imagine instead he has that eye. This is deliberately drawn to make him look unpleasant. Next, chin. Look at the chin. Who else do we see who have chins like that? Usually it's fat, white, unpleasant people. Usually it's actually some of the Republican candidates this year who aren't all fat, but they are mostly white at this point. Kane just dropped out. Now, we got that. This is all very small stuff. Finally, let's look right here. Look at this beard. We've got an unshaven beard. This is to give the impression of they're not clean, they're not normal, they don't have respect for society. Now, I might be reading into this, but this is all just building up toward the picture. So let's go down a little. Occupy Wall Street, because, you know, they've been pepper spraying all those protesters. No, wait. They haven't. That was the police pepper spraying the Occupy Wall Street protesters. Either way. Occupy Wall Street, right in the middle of the shirt. Now, the next one is stomach. Guy's fat. This is an obvious thing. It's almost a comical, sad level. But here's the thing. We also see his stomach. Now, it's not the only important thing about stomach, it's the skin. So let's look. We got tattoo, tattoo, tattoo. Now, if you're just looking at this in the paper, you're not going to notice this. You're just going to see a scruffy guy who doesn't look very good. But let's take a look at each of these. That one I actually cannot decode. So I'm going to put a little question. If anybody can figure out what that's supposed to be, you can tell me in the comments. But this was originally actually supposed to be hair. But as you can see, zoom and enhance. I feel like I'm on CSI here. It is, in fact, sickle. Hammer and sickle. Everybody loves the Soviets. So now, not only has he said that that Occupy Wall Street is fat and lazy, he's also linked them to being Soviets and Russians, which is slightly offensive because I'm pretty sure we're still not enemies with them, and that was a while ago. But anyway, he's saying that we are socialists and communists. Last time I checked, making sure that bankers don't get billions of dollars doesn't count as that. All right, last one. This tattoo is just sort of your typical dragon tattoo. Now, there's two ways to look at this. One, it's an equally sketchy sort of tattoo, one you usually see on drug dealers. Or two, it represents China, and that would actually fall in better. I'm not sure this could be a tattoo. That's also a dragon. Not sure if that's just his leg or anything. Now, this is also a tattoo. So those could represent China. They could also simply be sort of trying to reinforce the negative perspective. So he's wearing clothes that hardly fit. Now, some of the other ones, let's look at this grime. We've got the guy painted as dirty. He's wearing a bad t-shirt. He's got a beard. Basically, one of the main characteristics of this guy is this. Now, let's look down at these people. They're all neat. They're well dressed. They're well shaved. They're well combed. Nobody has scraggly hair. In fact, they all have perfect hair. Look at the hair. There's no scraggles. You don't actually see anyone with brown or red hair. Now, let's look up at this guy. We've got a bad goatee. We've got a small mustache. This is all deliberately in time to make you dislike him without even seeing the shirt. You're not supposed to see Occupy Wall Street and say, I hate Occupy Wall Street. You're supposed to say this guy, say, I hate this guy, and then see the Occupy Wall Street. And now you've got a negative connection between Occupy Wall Street and this. I'm going to scroll down a little farther. Flip-flops. He isn't wearing shoes. Now, I'm not quite sure what this is supposed to mean necessarily, but considering, let's just see if he has shoes. Does he look any better? He doesn't look worse. The shoes sort of improve his appearance. This is just one more attempt to sort of make him look scummy. Look, he's got the bad hair, he's got bad ankles. The entire picture is just an attempt to make this guy look like a bad person. Of course, we got this arm. He's pepper spraying them. Pepper spray, except that was the police, not the Occupy Wall Street protesters. On nose, finally the nose. Who else do we know who has a nose like that? Oh, wait. Snape, Severus Snape. So we've given him unpleasant facial characteristics, including the lump on the chin, the nose, the eyes, the bad hat, the bad hair, the slightly aftershave sort of thing. We've given him an unpleasant face. We've all in all just tried to make him look as horrible of a person as we can. But the thing is, you're not supposed to say, I hate Occupy Wall Street. And that's the problem with this cartoon. You're supposed to say, this guy's unpleasant. I don't like him. I see what he's doing over here. Oh, I hate Occupy Wall Street. Except taxpayers. How much money is taxpayers wasting? I think it's slightly less than the few $1 billion we gave to the banks on bailouts. Laws. Which laws? The ones about, I don't know, the First Amendment, right to free speech, right to civil protest? I thought that was an important law. Private property. I cannot necessarily say there isn't some of that going on. But on the other hand, I thought the First Amendment was slightly important. But I could be terribly wrong here. Small businesses. How many small businesses? I haven't seen many articles saying small businesses are being tortured. Health codes. Really. Health codes. You know, like the Health Care Act that Republicans didn't want to pass. So finally, let's look up at this name. Glenn McCoy. If you do a quick Google search, you'll find all his cartoons are something similar to this. They're all basically anti-Democrat, anti-protest, anti-Obama cartoons, which, here's the thing, if you see this cartoon in a newspaper, you're not going to know that. You're not going to know what his feelings is. Political cartoons are sometimes more powerful than the editorials simply because a political cartoon isn't something that can just be brushed away. All you have to do to see, quote-unquote, a political cartoon is to look at it for 2 seconds. 2 seconds, and this guy has already conveyed what it will take writers much, much longer to try to convince you of. And that's why they're dangerous, especially when they're as inaccurate as this is not Occupy Wall Street. This guy should be wearing a police helmet. Thanks for watching. Occupy YouTube.